Hello and welcome to Be Great Today. I am Jonathan Bloom. I also go by the name Frasley Sparksman in World of Warcraft. Today I want to talk about perfection. That idea that things can be perfected is a false one, in my opinion. My friend Kaz won the Cosplay Contest at BlizzCon this past weekend. BlizzCon is an annual convention where gamers come together to meet each other and hear about the latest from Blizzard Entertainment, the makers of World of Warcraft, Overwatch, StarCraft, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and Diablo. There is a costume play or cosplay contest each year. Kaz won with a costume depicting the Hogger Knoll from World of Warcraft. All low-level players who have ever played an Alliance Hunter in Elwyn Forest know very well the dangers of Hogger. As I followed the process on her cosplay, she shared how there were things that weren't 100% perfect, but the result was perfect to me. It looked amazing. I interviewed Kaz about her experience making the cosplay, then her reaction to winning the contest. Let's listen in. Good afternoon, Kaz. Thank you for joining me today for this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
It's a blast being able to talk with the winner of the BlizzCon cosplay contest.
I'm still the same Kaz I was before.
Well, I know, but there's an aura around you now.
Oh, yeah. I'm famous now.
Absolutely. I want to give the audience kind of a background of who you are and how and why you got into cosplay.
All right. I'm Kaz. I've been an artist my entire life. You know, my mom taught me to sew when I was little. My grandma was a sculptor and a painter, and she taught me a bunch of things when I was young. And I've always had this unexplainable urge to create things. Like, I would always have a pen and paper on me, always be drawing, or have a little lump of clay with me and be sculpting from when I was very young. And so when I discovered the world of cosplay, when I started exploring the internet when I was about 13, I thought, that's really neat. I really want to be able to do this someday. But I didn't think I could. And it took me to the point where I was finally moved out and going to college, moved out on my own, that I actually started attempting to build this stuff. And then it wasn't until I was married that I actually started attending BlizzCon and competing in cosplay. It took my husband, the encouragement from my husband to actually go out there and compete.
Having someone who was able to be there to give you the encouragement and give you the validation that's missing in our world.
Yeah, that's right. And he's always been very supportive. Like, he loves everything that I build, and he's a good sport, and he loves wearing them too. So I've gotten to build some cosplay for him as well.
Oh, nice! Like the fox that was on the front page of BlizzCon.
The Worgen, Gen Greymane.
Yeah, Gen Greymane. To me, sometimes I get Worgen and foxes confused.
They're close enough.
Yeah. And for those listening who might be contemplating cosplay, what were your honest feelings heading up to the contest?
Contests are always super intimidating. Like, especially the BlizzCon one, there is a group on Facebook called BlizzCon Cosplay Discussion. And if you're wanting to start into Blizzard cosplay, like, that's a great group to start with. Like, there's a bunch of people, they always share their progress. People ask questions, people answer questions. It's a great little community. But also at the same time, like, you see all these talented people sharing their progress the entire year round. It can kind of get intimidating, and you might think, oh, my stuff isn't that good. And I'll be honest, like, that's the feeling that I had with Hogger the whole time. And even backstage at BlizzCon, like, looking around at all the amazing cosplay, I was convinced that I was like, no way. There's no way I can win. There's too many talented people here. It's no way. So it's very intimidating, but this Blizzard community of cosplayers is honestly really great. Just go in there to have a good time, to meet people and learn from each other. And it'll be a great experience. Also, just having it as a goal. I'm a big proponent of having deadlines and hard deadlines to make you work. That kind of positive pressure is good for you. Like, it's good for you to push yourself hard to meet these deadlines. So having a contest deadline is good because it actually motivates you to get things done. So it's overall, I think like competing is a very positive thing. Like it really forces you to, even if you're in just competition with yourself, you're like, I want to build something. Well, you've already won because you built something this year and you didn't last year, or you can always improve on what you've built before.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you said on Twitter, it resonated with me because for me, I am a perfectionist. I struggle with perfection in my work as well as like school and media creation. And on Twitter, you said something that, and I quote, still only see Hogger full of flaws, but he is done and everyone sees him as so much more than I, even perfect like you see him. And I see Hogger as perfect. I mean, and to me, Hogger blew me away with how you turned one of the banes of low-level Alliance characters into something that was in real life. I mean, I'm looking at that like, no, don't attack me. I mean, it was amazing. So like, what advice would you give to people who may be struggling with confidence in what they make and are creating it?
Well, first of all, thank you. Like, I really appreciate it. I'm so glad you love Hogger. But perfectionism, it can be crippling. I've been aware of this, like from my schooling. I had some great teachers that taught this principle over and over, and it was hammered into my head, and it's really stuck with me since that time. Perfectionism is crippling. If you're worried about making something perfect, you'll never get it done. There are skills like in finishing something that you can only learn when you finish something. If something's always in a work in progress, you'll never get those skills of finishing something. And those skills are really valuable. That final level of polish, calling it done, it's really valuable. The truth is, like, we are our own worst critics as artists.
Yes.
Like we criticize our work the most harshly of any person. The truth is, when you finish something, when it's done and complete and you ship it, like you see it full of flaws. Like I still see all the flaws in Hogger. When it's done, that means it's better than perfect. Because if it was perfect and never finished, nobody would even care. But now it's done. It may be a little flawed, but it's done. It's done. It can get out there. It can entertain. It can bring joy to people's lives. And I've had dozens, hundreds and hundreds of messages of how Hogger made people's BlizzCons memorable. And to me, that means so much. Like something I did made these people's BlizzCons memorable.
And you inspired more people than you will ever know.
Yeah, like I've gotten so many messages like that, and just thinking how many more people like maybe too scared or just haven't sent a message. Like it's incredible. But yeah, finishing something like that finishing step always makes it look 100 times better than you think it is. If I would have like hesitated on Hogger and waited another year, like the impact wouldn't have been there at all, I don't think, or not nearly as strong.
How did it feel just being on stage after you had finished and just hearing the cheering crowd?
Well, the stage walk was actually quite interesting. Like I was actually pretty darn sick on stage. I was sick. I was really tired after being in costume all day long.
I bet.
There was actually a little bit of a problem when I walked out on stage. All the fail-safes that Frosty and I had made to guide me safely across the stage had failed. And so, to be honest, on stage, I had no idea where I was. I was actually really incredibly embarrassed. Like when I left stage, I couldn't even hear the cheers of people because I was so embarrassed and panicking, because I'm like, I don't know where I am on stage. I hope I don't fall off. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like when I walked back on stage after, like when they announced me as a winner, that was an incredible moment. Like I could hardly believe it. I was probably in a little bit of denial, because I'm like, there's still no way. I did so bad on my stage walk. There's no way I'm winning. How am I here? Well, how did this happen? But it was still incredible because there was a huge applause, and I've gone back and watched the videos since, and there was quite the applause and people laughing, and and just having a good time. And I've had countless messages of people saying that I nailed the stage walk and
Nice.
that it was like so full of personality and just exactly what Hogger would do, and that I stayed in character. Even though on the inside I was like completely panicked and I had no idea where I was. Like, it was an interesting experience, but holy cow. I think the best part is when I was walking back to the hotel after the contest had ended. I was tired. I had Hogger's whole head and neck off, and Frosty was carrying that for me. We walk into the Hilton lobby, and like the whole Hilton lobby like explodes with cheers.
Oh.
And people were coming up to me, telling me how awesome Hogger was. They're giving me high fives, shaking my hand, getting a picture with me, getting a picture with Hogger. The whole lobby was cheering for me. It was crazy.
That's awesome. And I just love this story. I love how for the creator, it wasn't the Hallmark moment, but for the fans, it was. I mean, it just shows that things won't go perfectly. And that's okay. That brings character to the story. I mean, you'll have this story for years and years, and you'll tell people about winning BlizzCon, and actually it may have made the experience even that more memorable than if everything went off perfectly.
Right. And like I said, my stage walk, to me, that was like, it was just panic filled. It was horrible. I was so embarrassed. So flaws all over the place, but everybody else, they loved it. They saw it as perfect. They said I nailed it. So, I mean, just do it. Just do something, and people will always see it as better than you see it.
Absolutely. Well, if you think about it, Hogger is a Null who's scared. So maybe he's doing the panicked thing as are the adventurers or the Stormwind guards are coming after him. You never know.
Right. And like, he doesn't care where he stands. He's just going to go stand wherever he wants.
Absolutely.
Do whatever he wants on stage.
That's Hogger. Nice. Thank you again for joining us, Kaz. Again, congratulations. Again, when I heard the news, I was just super excited. And again, I was blown away, just like, wow. It brought closure to the story, and it made my evening to hear that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Any final words or comments you'd like to give the listeners and potential cosplayers or content creators?
For anybody who wants to do something creative, like really being creative, I believe that's a deep part of human nature, and it's deeply satisfying to be able to do that. So don't be afraid. You don't have to put your stuff out there on the internet unless you want to. Like, just go create something for you. Do something creative for you, and let yourself experience the joy of doing something. Like whether it's a piece of art, or whether you're creating a podcast or a recorded thing, or editing some videos together, or doing photography. Just do something creative, and don't let your fear stop you. Just start and do it. Let yourself learn. Give yourself the freedom. Give yourself that allowance that you may not be very good at the beginning. I certainly wasn't very good at costumes at the beginning. But if you just let yourself fail and just keep trying, keep always trying to improve and challenge yourself, you will improve, and you will create things that you're proud of, and it'll enrich your life greatly.
Thank you again to Kaz for taking the time to join me for the interview. You can find her on Twitter at KazulGFox, at frozenfoxmedia.com. She's on Twitter, which you can find at wayawesome.link/Kazplay, KAZPLAY, and see her amazing contest entry at wayawesome.link/Hogger, HOGGER. All links will be in the show notes as well. Congratulations on winning. You did an amazing job. Another friend, Silverbolt, went to the show in an awesome chainmail dragon costume. She has mentioned how there were things she wanted to improve in her design, but it was awesome in my opinion. She got so many Twitter photos of people loving it, got noticed by the heads of guilds, big names in the Blizzard community, developers at Blizzard, even the host of the official BlizzCon coverage. You can find Silverbolt on Twitter at WorgenBMHunter, and a GIF of her dragon cosplay is at wayawesome.link/dragon. During the convention, there was a panel called Cosplay Craft 101, taking your first step on the path to cosplay. One of the panelists, Dana McGuire of Egg Sisters, advised fellow cosplayers to not be afraid to make the cosplay design their own. There are times I want to make my podcast episodes perfect. There will be audio issues, editing issues, and even issues in how I said things. I won't say the right thing, or I will forget to mention something. Each episode of my shows is going to be unique. I can do my best to make it a quality episode, but at a point, I need to be fine with how it is and how I release it. That is why I set a weekly deadline on myself. There is no such thing as perfect. We all make mistakes. No perfect time to start anything. Always things that will come up. Things that will happen. Not trying to be pessimistic, but nothing is ever perfect. In anything, we want to strive for the best. I find for me, at a point, it turns into an obstacle where my strive for perfection stops me from finishing a project. What are things you have put off on doing, or projects you haven't completed because of striving to make it perfect? Have you found what is good enough in a project? I hope these stories help you to feel better about releasing your creations into the world. Know that no creator ever feels like things are perfect. There will always be critics of anything, but your fans will love your work. Thank you for listening to Be Great Today. I am Jonathan Bloom in real life. I am a gnome named Frasley Sparkspan in World of Warcraft. You can find this episode and our website at b-great.today/11. If you found this helpful, maybe you know someone who could use encouragement with their creations. Share this episode with that person. Maybe you can be the encouragement they need to be great. Until next Sunday, be awesome.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.